Hey, this is Navonod. It's been a while since I've done a recording, but I had an idea for a series. This is still part of the Run It Up from Nothing series, but I tanked my account pretty good last night. Um, got in against some tough opponents and had some pretty bad luck. So I dropped it from 400 to just under 300. I was probably playing a little high for my bankroll, but felt like I had an edge in the game. Anyway, one of the things I have been curious about for a long time is, what is the correct way to play fast full poker pre-flop? And I've tried a lot of different methods, and I haven't really found one that clearly gets the nod over any other. I think I'm just gonna turn my hand into a bluff here and hope he folds. Um, Pretty well dead if we get called, but I don't know. I guess maybe every once in a while he shows up with like some kind of weird. Nah. Okay, so yeah, what I wanted to do is see if there is a definitive edge playing like a hyper aggressive preflop style compared to sort of a nitty tight style. And so I am going to be opening a ton of hands in this video, and I'm going to be isolating more than I would. I'm going to be just a little more loose, a little more aggressive. I normally would fold 9-7 suited from under the gun plus one. But this is the kind of hand that I'm gonna play a little more liberally. Um, yeah, out of position here. We almost have the stack depth. Um, if he'd have done that from like the big blind, maybe if I was in late, or if I was just like steal versus re-steal, um, or if we were both pretty deep. And I think we're gonna go ahead and call and take a flop here in position. We don't really mind if it goes multiplayer. I think I'm going to go ahead and stab here. Gut shot over cards and backdoor flush draw. I think he's probably going to have, if he is decent and he has a stack that would make me think he's probably decent, he's probably going to have a good number of ace highs and small pairs that are going to allow me to get this done if I'm willing to fire the third shell. So we're going to barrel off here and see if we can fold out his weak pairs. And ace size. My plan was not to reload because it makes it easier to keep track and then go back and just see after a few of these like what pre-flop style is working the best and what kind of effects it's having on my play post-flop. But that's a pretty big hit I've taken to my stack. I may want to reload after all. Yeah, I think we will. It's on video, so it should be easy enough to remember or see. Yeah, we're gonna open this. Yeah, and kind of the same thing here as the last hand, but I'm just gonna hope it works this time. This time if he's got the 7, he really ought to fold it, right? Okay, 1 for 1 on the triple barrels. don't think anything good's gonna come of a 9-4 offsuit. And we'll go ahead and pounce on the open limp while we have position. That crushes the range of hands I would expect him to limp call with pretty hard. I don't want to get check raised, so I think I am just going to check back and hope to bink a jack, a diamond. Okay. Something that will allow me to continue in the hand. And we'll go ahead and stab. Plenty of equity if we get called, and we've got, I mean, almost the nuts here, right? $2 wager. I think he's gonna look me up with like 10-9 there. If he has stuff like, I don't know, Queen 2 suited or just random 2 pairs that weren't strong enough that in his mind to open raise, but he didn't want to fold. Just gonna open raise, and with like a Queen 7 suited, I might ISO here. But I think Queen 6 offsuit's just a little bit being a little overly optimistic. Come on, Duck, give me something. I'm not asking for all that much. No. 7-2 offsuit, probably just a little bit, little weak to play. That's one of those trap hands. Gets you in a lot of trouble. No, not really. It's just a bad hand. So what am I stuck for? Like $7? Well, I mean not now, but what I reload for, so $8 maybe. So I'm halfway back. Need to pick up some hands that I can get aggressive with. Close. Probably like a 7-6 of diamonds would have done the trick. Yeah, we'll open this if it folds to us. Damn. Against this starting stack size, I mean, it's possible that he just logged on or just sat, but I think it's probably a little more likely that he's just hovering around $25. So that could mean that he plays a pretty taggy game. And I like to open a little small with this type of hand. I don't like the min raise because I do want to get rid of like complete garbage, because my hand just doesn't play that well against complete garbage. I need for villain to have some strong hands to pay me off with when I do hit a set every once in a while. So that's why I don't like to min raise my pocket pairs. I like to give the big blind a decision, so he's got to be a little more, well, you know, so he's not going to be inclined to just call me with any 2 probably. And here I'm just deep enough against the big blind that, again, a min raise doesn't seem like the thing to do. Normally I would just check this back. When somebody tanks and checks, they're almost always checking to fold, so I think I'll just go ahead and end the hand. I mean, I usually use these ace highs on these paired boards as part of my like check back range. But when there's almost no chance that the guy's not going to fold, I think it's probably better to just go ahead and pick up the pot. And I think it's a very reliable tell online at small stakes, is when somebody takes a long time to check um, in a situation where they're very unlikely to be even have a donking range, or you're not really thinking that they're thinking about donking, then why are they taking their time? Well, I think most of the time the reason they're tanking and really taking their time is to try to kind of dissuade you from betting, to like make you think that they're thinking about betting when maybe they don't even have a donk range. So when you see that, it's a pretty reliable tell in my experience that they're checking to fold. Conversely, when you see a rapid fire check, like it just the flop comes out and the guy really quickly checks his option after calling a raise, and he's out of position. He called your raise. Flop comes out, he quickly checks. Most of the time, well, more time than average, greater than, how do I say that? It's more likely that the guy is going to check call than it would be had he just taken like a normal amount of time or tanked. And we'll open this if it gets to us. I think I'm going to take one stab at this. If I get played with, be done, unless I bink an ace, in which case I'm going to check and call a street. You probably have to check fold most rivers. It's a weird bet. I'm a sucker for a bargain. Yeah, he would have had to bet one more time and more than like 1/8 of the pot to get it done. I'm guessing he must have had some kind of a draw. Apparently I'm not allowed to see. A queen. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that makes a little sense. I'm pretty deep against the big blind, so 3 times the big blind. Plus I have a pretty strong hand for the position. And they can't exploit that, the fact that I'm using different raise sizes, because they don't know which player I am, right? Yeah, so we must be at about break even, a little under. Need a buck. Seems okay. King 9 suited on the button. Facing a limp from a short stack. I am gonna go for the double ISO. I think limping would have been fine. I'm a little nervous this guy ships it, but not too awful concerned. I think this guy would have just raised most of his aces, but I'm probably pre-flop, but I'm probably either way ahead or way behind. So I want to give him a chance to bluff turns. I'm not going to give him a chance to pot control out of position with some kind of like weak king or pocket pair or like jack 8. Can we value bet here? Against the guy that started with such a small stack, I think we can. We don't have to worry about facing a check raise, so I think those things kind of add up to a thin value bet. Wow. Open, limped it, then called. Yeah, that was really strange. It was a really weird play with ace queen. But I mean, with that short a stack, I'm sure if you would have played it a little more standard, like just bet the turn, well, raised pre-flop, I don't know. I mean, I obviously lost the maximum, but I don't think it was because of his super sly trickiness. I don't think this is quite good enough to flat call, but I think it's a great hand to 3-bet. I've got 2 overs against his like medium and small pairs. I've got good equity even against like kings, decent equity. My hand plays well. I've got position, and of course I've got the ace blocker where he could just fold pre-flop. This probably hits his range better than it hits mine, but I don't see a better option than to just go ahead and fire on in there. I think the only reason that I might bet here is if I plan to fire again when the river breaks off, but I already beat a lot of the draws with ace high, so not sure if that makes sense. Yeah, maybe I bet turn and check the river back. I was thinking 3 barrels might get the job done a lot. Yeah, the more I think of it, the more I think bet flop, bet turn, check river would have been a better line. Seems okay for my hand. That's not great. If it goes check, 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 I'll check and call his bet. But I'm going to fold in pretty much any other scenario facing a bet. Okay, we're all done with the folding plan. This guy reps big hands better than anybody else. I'm expecting him to bet a lot here. You'd think somebody's going to bet. Okay, now I'm guessing that there's some draws out there that I can get value from. So we'll raise. And it looks pretty bluffy too. So I might even get like the draws to jam. Again, I think I'm betting for kind of thin value. I think if I size my bet right, he'll give me action with a queen. I think he's always going to call with an ace. He might have. And I think the hands that beat me mostly at the river. Let's see what I had. Guessing a queen. It's my best guess. Come on. What was it? It was in fact a queen. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about the way I sized that bet. And I was trying to wrap this up in about 20 minutes, so just gonna play for another minute. Try to find some spots to get all aggro. I'm thinking I'm gonna do probably 3 20-minute sessions, super aggressive, and 3 20-minute sessions of tag and 3 20-minute sessions of knit, and then sort of compare and contrast the results. And I think with the last minute, gonna pump it up a little bit, turn up the heat. I think our hand is probably good enough to check back. Not strong enough to value bet, not weak enough to turn into a bluff. We're going to have to call a turn lead. And then fold to most rivers. And at this point, looks like he's not going to be bluffing, so we may as well fold his equity out and hope that he's in there with like a, I don't know, ace-2 suited. Something that can give us the kind of action that we want. We'll go ahead and open this. I think betting half the size of the pot, I bet this gets through about a third of the time. And so kind of the way I figure it, it'll get through about a third of the time, and then my gut shot is sort of like my my extra value. I don't know if anything that called me on the flop is now going to fold since the turn went check-check. If he was bluffing, I would think if he was floating or something, he would have probably bluffed here. So he's probably got a queen that is now betting for value, I would guess, a lot of the time. Yeah, just let that one go. But I'm pretty okay with the line I took. I think it made sense. Okay, so we're at 22 minutes. How did that happen? Alright. This could be the session. Ah. How about a middle position open? Seems good, or a late position open seems better. I'll just flat against this guy, but I will 3-bet against either of these players. Or, and then raise against the kind of shorter stack here. See if I can get some action. And check one street. I expect he's going to bet his draws anyway, so I don't think I'm losing value from his draws. And it just keeps the pot smaller. If I would have ran into it, and it stops me from having to bet fold a hand that could be ahead. And I think it makes sense to raise here so we can go for stacks on the river. Set it up, I think, pretty nice for stacks. Yeah, we sure did. Come on, call. Last hand. Be the last hand of the video. Just put the money in, kid. Let's see folding. Man, I think a lot of these guys are going to call me with a flush. Going to call me with trip fours. I thought for sure I was going to stack that guy. Trip fours would have been a worse boat. He must have had a queen and some semblance of a brain. Alright, so we'll just go to 25 minutes. Maybe I should just make peace with the fact that I cannot stop and go to a half an hour. Let's get some action. Alright guys, well, do one more aggressive action, king high squeeze, or well, double ISO. Followed by probably a c-bet. Of course a c-bet. I crush. This flop crushes my range, and he almost certainly does not have an ace. And so I think we will end on that note. Seems like I'm at about what, break even? I know I've said that a lot. What did I had 25 and I lost 8. And okay, so lost 80 cents playing pretty aggressively. So yeah, next time we'll move on to nitty, and I'm gonna hit the sit out next big blind button, and apparently I did not hit it fast enough. Well, that's okay. So yeah, that's when we're going to actually end the video. 6, 7, blank 9, 10. I think I don't know. So, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I probably don't donk bet when I ought to. It might have been a case where a donk bet would have been good. I think I'm drawing slim, and sometimes even dead. I mean, not often, but so the implied odds are not going to make up for it, and it's a fold. Okay, facing the min raise, we're going to pop this guy. It's a late 3-bet, but I do have position, and I don't think people have been getting carried away with 3-bets, so if the other people are paying attention, might kind of deter them from getting sticky with something mediocre. Definitely fold king 10 offsuit from under the gun, but we're playing aggressive. And here I think it's a pretty good time to check back. Try to go for 2 streets of value or induce a bluff. If he bets here, I call, and call on most rivers. And if he checks, I think I can bet. It's thin. It's definitely thin. But if I size my bet small, I think I can get called by an 8. Yeah, most time he's just gonna fold, but that's okay. Hey, made money. We made money playing laggy. It wasn't easy. And if it does get to 30 minutes, I will cut it off. It's 30 minutes or whenever I am supposed to take the big blind. And of course, 8-10 suited. If you're playing taggy or nitty, you'll fold that from under the gun. In fact, I play sort of moderately aggressive, and I will usually open like a 10-9. Well, sometimes I don't even open 10-9 suited from under the gun at Bovada zone, but it's 10-8 suited. Always certainly a fold in my default strategy from under the gun. It's not going to be awful. Pretty much regardless of the situation, can't be too bad. At 6 max. Alright, 60 seconds. I think we're just going to wrap it up here. So, that was Agronod. It's running a tiny little profit in 30 minutes. Playing NL25. Playing a little crazy. So, until next time, good luck.